Jace and his crew unlock a new revelation about Earth's place in the galaxy, learning that the Star Atlas, once a map for the galaxy's greatest civilizations, ends at the Sol system for a purpose. The hidden truth begins to surface, showing the galaxy's fear of Earth's potential. With alien forces closing in, humanity must decide whether to embrace its power or let it fade once more. Jay stood at the edge of the command center, his gaze fixed on the holographic display of the galaxy. The map flickered as the ship's AI fed in the data from the relay, revealing a star chart unlike anything they had seen before. It was the Star Atlas once thought to be a record of the galaxy's known worlds, a map drawn by civilizations older than humanity itself. But as the coordinates flashed on the display, something caught his eye. The atlas ended abruptly at the edge of the Sol system. "That's it," Ferris said, his voice cutting through the quiet hum of the control room. "The Star Atlas stops right at Sol, not a single marker after that." Jace's brow furrowed. "What does that mean?" "The galaxy doesn't just end there." "No, it doesn't. But this map. It's ancient, Commander. It's showing the galaxy as it was before the fall," Ferris replied, tapping a few keys. "Everything. Beyond Sol was ... excluded." Jace stepped closer, his eyes scanning the projection. "So, Earth was deliberately cut off from the rest of the galaxy?" Ferris nodded, his expression grim. "It wasn't just Earth, Commander. It was Sol, the entire system. Like they didn't want anyone to even acknowledge its existence." The room fell silent as the weight of the realization hit. The Star Atlas had once mapped the entire galaxy, its chart stretching beyond what humanity had ever known. But when it came to Earth's home, the map simply stopped. No explanations, no signs, just emptiness. Jace's mind raced. The implications were staggering. Earth hadn't been just forgotten by the galaxy, it had been erased from its history. The Sol system, where humanity had once thrived, had been purposefully excluded, as though someone or something had wanted to bury it. What could have happened? Ferris asked, his voice tinged with disbelief. Jace's gaze hardened. "I think we're about to find out." In the heart of the alien fleet, the council leader paced in his command chamber, his hands clasped behind his back. The map of the galaxy flickered before him, showing the same star atlas that the humans had uncovered. He knew the truth. The humans were about to learn what had been hidden from them for millennia. The real reason the Star Atlas ended at Sol was no accident. They found it, the council leader said quietly, his voice laced with dread. "They've unlocked the truth." One of the younger council members, their face filled with concern, stepped forward. "What truth?" "The truth about Earth," the council leader replied, his tone heavy. "The truth about why they were cut off. Earth was not like the other systems. It was never meant to be part of the galaxy's future. And now the humans have awakened that knowledge." "What are you saying?" another council member asked, her voice trembling with unease. "Their ancestors fought Earth," the leader muttered. "They feared its potential. They knew what humanity was capable of, and that was why they wiped them out." The room fell silent, the weight of the words settling over the council like a storm cloud. The council leader's eyes burned with intensity as he spoke again, his voice low and filled with urgency. "We cannot let them uncover what lies beyond Sol. If they do, the galaxy will fall." Back on the human warship, Jace's fingers hovered over the console, his eyes locked on the map. The Star Atlas may have ended at Sol, but there was more to the story than the data showed. The galaxy's oldest civilizations had known about Earth, and they had actively sought to erase it from history. "Commander, I'm getting something," Ferris said, his voice cutting through the tension. "There's an encrypted message embedded in the data from the relay. It's a warning." Jace's pulse quickened. "What does it say?" Ferris's fingers moved quickly across the console, decrypting the message. The screen flickered before showing a simple line of text. Do not awaken them. Earth is the key. The gate will open, and the stars will burn. Jace's breath caught in his throat. The message was old, its meaning unclear, but the warning was unmistakable. Someone or something was telling them to stop, to leave Earth's legacy buried. Who left this message? Ferris asked, his voice strained. Was it the same species that fought humanity? Jace's eyes narrowed. I think so. This wasn't just a battle for control. It was a war over Earth's potential. They knew something about Earth, about humanity, that the rest of the galaxy never understood. And now we've activated something we don't fully grasp. The crew's faces were tense, their hands frozen over their stations. The message from the relay, the star atlas, the warnings, it was all coming together, but it made less and less sense. Earth had been erased from the galaxy's map for a reason, and now that reason was slowly starting to reveal itself. Jace clenched his fists, his thoughts turning to the alien fleet. They were closing in, but the humans weren't backing down. Not now. Not after everything they had uncovered. We're not stopping, Jace said, his voice resolute. We've come this far. Whatever's waiting for us beyond Sol, we're going to find it. And we're going to make sure the galaxy knows that Earth is back. Ferris looked at him, a mix of fear and resolve in his eyes. Commander, are we prepared for what lies beyond? Jace met his gaze, his expression hardening. We don't have a choice. Humanity's past is ours to reclaim. The stars may have ended the star atlas at Sol, but Earth's story is just beginning. As the human warship prepares to confront the truth hidden beyond the Sol system, the crew uncovers more unsettling messages embedded within the ancient relay. Alien forces close in on them, but the real danger lies in the ancient enemy that has been waiting to rise again. Jace and his crew must navigate not only the galactic conflict but also the unsettling power they've awakened. The warship hummed with energy as Jace stood in the command center, his eyes locked onto the main screen. The holographic map of the galaxy stretched out before him, with the Sol system at its edge. The star atlas, once believed to be a simple guide to known space, had revealed something far more sinister. The map's sudden end at Earth's homeworld had been no mistake, it was intentional. Earth had been excluded from the galaxy's future, and humanity had never truly understood why. Now the truth was beginning to unfold. Jace's mind raced as he absorbed the magnitude of what they had discovered. The alien fleet was still out there, closing in on their position, but something far more dangerous had been awakened. The Earth Relay, an ancient device with the power to shift the galaxy's balance, was not just a relic. It was a weapon, a tool of unimaginable power. And humanity had activated it. Commander, Ferris's voice cut through his thoughts. I've been going over the data again. There's more in the relay's message. I think we've missed something. Jace's pulse quickened. What is it? Ferris looked up from his console, his face drawn with concern. The relay isn't just broadcasting data about Earth. It's broadcasting the coordinates to something else, something deeper within the galaxy. It's almost as if the relay was designed to guide us there. Guide us? Jace echoed, narrowing his eyes. Guide us to what? I don't know, Commander, Ferris replied, his voice tight. But whatever it is, it's something ancient. Something that has been waiting. Jace clenched his jaw, his mind racing. They had uncovered a war with an ancient enemy, a war that had been hidden from the galaxy's history. But now it seemed that enemy wasn't just a shadow in the past. It was alive, waiting, and it was drawing humanity to it. Set a course, Jace ordered. We're going to find out what the relay's hiding. Prepare the crew for a jump. On the alien flagship, The council leader stood before the projection of the human warship, his face twisted in frustration. The humans had unlocked the relay, and now they were heading towards something that had been concealed for millennia. The truth about Earth, about humanity's place in the galaxy, it was more than the council had anticipated. The fleet commander turned to the council leader, his face grim. "We cannot let them get there first." The council leader's eyes narrowed. "We can't afford to make the same mistake we made before. The humans are not as weak as we thought." "But they're unpredictable," another council member interjected. "They've already proven that by activating the relay." The council leader stood silent for a moment, his mind calculating. "Yes, and now we must act before they discover the full extent of what the relay holds. We have no choice but to stop them before they awaken something that will destroy us all." Back on the human warship, the crew braced for the unknown. The ship powered up as they set their course for the coordinates transmitted by the relay. Jace stood at the helm, his hands steady on the controls. His crew was ready, but Jace knew the gravity of their mission. They weren't just heading into uncharted space. They were heading into the heart of a mystery that could change the course of the galaxy forever. "Commander," Ferris called, his voice filled with urgency. "We're nearing the coordinates. The energy readings are off the charts. I don't think we've seen anything like this before." Jace's brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" Ferris looked over his shoulder, his face pale. "The readings are ... inconsistent. They don't match anything in the known data banks. It's almost like the system itself is ... shifting." Jace gritted his teeth. "Shifting? What are we dealing with here?" "I don't know," Ferris said, his voice tight. "But whatever it is, it's not natural." Jace stood still for a moment, taking in the enormity of their situation. "Set a course for the heart of the readings. We're going in." The warship cut through the void at full speed, its engines roaring as they approached the coordinates. The crew worked in silent coordination, each member focused on their tasks as the ship neared its destination. The stars ahead seemed to warp and twist as they approached the unknown region of space, and Jace could feel the air growing thicker, as if the very fabric of reality was bending around them. Ferris's voice came through, tinged with concern. "Commander, the readings are escalating. The energy in the area is..." A massive shockwave suddenly hit the warship, rattling the hull and throwing the crew off balance. The lights flickered, and the ship groaned as it was pushed off course. "Report!" Jace shouted, his voice sharp as he struggled to stay upright. "Commander, it's coming from the coordinates." Ferris yelled. "It's like the entire system is reacting to our presence. We can't stabilize." Jace's mind raced as he gripped the edge of the console. They were too close now. Too close to turn back. "Get us back on course," Jace ordered. "We're going through." The warship surged forward, its engines roaring as it pressed on toward the heart of the energy surge. The shockwave hit again, stronger this time, and Jace braced himself, expecting the worst. But just as quickly as it had arrived, the energy dissipated, leaving them in an eerie calm. "Status report," Jace barked, his voice low and steady. "We've broken through," Ferris said, his voice filled with awe. "We're in the heart of it. Whatever this is, it's unlike anything we've ever encountered." Ahead of them, the view was unlike anything Jace had ever seen. The stars had shifted, the space around them was distorted, and in the center of it all, an enormous structure, an ancient construct that seemed to pulse with power, loomed before them. Jace's breath caught in his throat. "This is it," he whispered, the weight of their discovery crashing down on him. "This is what we've been looking for." The structure before them seemed to hum, the energy of the galaxy itself, concentrated within it. It was not just a weapon, it was something far older. Something far more dangerous. The warship hovered in space, its engines quiet now, leaving the crew in an eerie silence. Ahead, the massive structure loomed like a monolith from another age, a labyrinth of twisted metal and glowing energy. The structure's presence sent a shiver through Jace's spine. This was no ordinary relic, it was alive. And they were about to discover what it truly was. "Commander," Ferris said, his voice cutting through the tension, "we're within range of the structure's energy source. It's like the entire system is feeding into it." "I've never seen anything like it." Jace didn't reply immediately. His gaze was fixed on the strange edifice, his thoughts racing. The Star Atlas had ended at Sol for a reason. Earth had been erased from the galaxy's records, hidden from the rest of the universe. And now, this forgotten structure had revealed itself, calling to them. But why? And what did it want? The crew was already busy preparing for the next phase of their mission. They had come too far to turn back now. Jace knew that this was the moment where everything changed, the point where humanity would either claim its future or fall into the abyss. "Prepare the team," Jace said finally, his voice calm but filled with resolve. "We're going in." The boarding party assembled in the ship's airlock, their faces tense and ready for what lay ahead. Jace led the way, his boots clanging against the metallic floor. The team had been briefed on the dangers of the unknown structure, but none of them truly understood what they were walking into. Every piece of data they had gathered indicated that this was not just an abandoned station, it was a gateway, a key. And now they had to unlock it. As the airlock door slid open, the crew stepped into the dark, vast chamber of the structure. The walls stretched impossibly high, their surfaces covered in faint, glowing runes that pulsed with a rhythmic energy. It was as if the structure was breathing alive in a way that defied logic. "What is this place?" Ferris whispered, his voice reverberating in the silence. "We're about to find out," Jace replied, his gaze scanning the room. The air felt charged, thick with an invisible energy. It pressed against their skin, a constant hum that seemed to resonate with the very fabric of space around them. The team moved cautiously, their footsteps echoing through the vastness. As they walked deeper into the heart of the structure, Jace's eyes fell on something that stopped him dead in his tracks. There, embedded in the far wall, was an enormous stone tablet. It was covered in ancient inscriptions, human symbols, mixed with other unknown scripts. The stone was worn with age, but it still held an undeniable power. It pulsed with the same energy that filled the entire room. "Ferris," Jace called, his voice urgent. "Get over here. I think we've found something." Ferris joined him, his eyes widening as he examined the tablet. This looks like a map. It's not just a map, though. It's showing the galaxy. But it's different. There's a sector here, near the edge, that's marked with strange symbols. Jace leaned closer, his heart racing. The markings were unfamiliar, alien, even. But one thing was clear. The map didn't just show the galaxy as it was now. It showed a different time, a different reality. The edge of the map, the Sol system, was marked with the same strange symbols that had been omitted from the Star Atlas. Ferris's fingers hovered over the symbols. These must be the coordinates to something. Something ... important. Jace's breath caught in his throat. Something humanity was never meant to find. Back on the warship, the alien fleet was closing in. The Council leader's fleet had arrived in full force, and they were now entering orbit around the strange structure. Their ships lined up like a formation of predators, ready to pounce on their prey. The Council leader stood at the helm of his flagship, his eyes focused on the human warship below. "They've found the structure," the Council leader murmured, his voice filled with a mixture of rage and fear. "They've uncovered the truth." A younger officer beside him spoke up, his voice strained with disbelief. But how? The relay. They activated it. It shouldn't have been possible. This is ancient technology more powerful than anything in our fleet. The council leader's face hardened. The relay wasn't just a communication device. It was a key way to unlock the power of the structure, and now the humans are the ones holding it. We can't let them use it, the officer said, fear creeping into his tone. If they unlock its true potential, they'll be unstoppable. The council leader's eyes burned with intensity. We'll stop them. We'll destroy the structure before they can use it. Inside the ancient structure, Jace's team continued to explore, the map revealing more secrets with each step. They reached the center of the room, where the energy from the relay had converged. At the center of it all was a colossal stone archway, its surface covered in glowing symbols and runes. It was a gateway, a portal to something beyond the known. Galaxy, this is it, Jace said, his voice reverberating with awe. This is what they were trying to hide from us. Ferris stepped forward, his fingers brushing the stone surface. This is the gateway. It's not just a map, it's a path. It's showing us where the enemy came from. Jace's mind raced as he absorbed the magnitude of their discovery. This was not just an ancient relic, it was a weapon. A weapon that had the power to reshape the galaxy, to bring the past back to life. And now humanity was at the center of it all. A voice, ancient and cold, filled the room. You have unlocked the gate. Now you must decide, do you have the strength to wield its power, or will it consume you as it has consumed all who came before? Jace's heart pounded as he turned to face the voice. The answer was clear, but the weight of the decision was heavier than anything he had ever faced. The hum of the energy in the structure grew louder, almost deafening. The air itself seemed to pulse with a strange vibration, and Jace felt it deep. In his chest, this was no longer just a discovery. This was a warning, a trap. The voice that had spoken to them was not merely a relic from the past. It was a force, an ancient intelligence that had been waiting for this moment, waiting for humanity to activate the gateway. Jace's fingers clenched around the console as he stared at the glowing symbols on the stone archway in front of him. The energy coursing through the walls of the structure seemed to respond to their presence, the room vibrating as if the very heart of the galaxy was beating in sync with their movements. The team stood still, their faces tense, their eyes scanning. The massive stone gateway. They had reached the heart of the mystery. But now, as the power grew stronger, the true cost of what they had awakened became clear. Commander, Ferris said, his voice low and filled with dread. The relay. It's more than just a map. It's an entire archive. It's not just showing the past, it's guiding us. Jace's heart sank. Guiding us? To what? Ferris swallowed hard. It's showing us the enemy's path. The same species that fought humanity, they were not just enemies. They were the ones who sealed Earth's fate. And now, the power we've unlocked ... It's pulling us into their territory. The implications of Ferris's words hit Jace like a physical blow. The power that humanity had unlocked was not just a tool, it was a beacon. A call to an ancient enemy that had been waiting for millennia. And now, it was their turn to face the consequences of activating it. Can we shut it down? Jace asked, his voice steady despite the rising tension. Ferris's fingers hovered over the console, trying to find a way to stop the energy from flooding the ship. I don't think so. The structure? It's not just powered by the relay. It's alive. And it wants us to follow it. Suddenly, the walls of the chamber began to shift. The stone archway glowed brighter, its pattern swirling like a vortex, pulling everything into it. The team was frozen, unable to tear their gaze away from the power that was unfolding before them. They could feel it now. This was not just a relic of the past. This was the beginning of something much larger, something they were about to unleash. And then the voice came again, echoing through the chamber with a resonance that shook the walls. "You have unlocked the gateway," it said, cold and unfeeling. "But now you must face what you have awakened." Jace's grip on the console tightened. "What are you? What have we unleashed?" The voice seemed to laugh, its tone hollow and unsettling. "I am the guardian of this power. I have been waiting for the humans to arrive. And now you must choose. Embrace the power of the gateway or let it consume you." Ferris stepped forward, his face drawn with fear. "Commander, we can't control it. We need to shut this down before it destroys us." Jace didn't reply. At first, his mind raced as the weight of the decision settled over him. The gateway was offering them unimaginable power, the kind of power that could wipe out their enemies, reshape the galaxy. But there was no telling what it would cost. No telling if they would even survive. "We don't have a choice," Jace said finally, his voice cold with resolve. "We need to fight back. The alien fleet is closing in. If we don't act now, we'll be destroyed." Ferris looked at him, his expression a mix of fear and confusion. "But Commander, what if we can't control it? What if it destroys us first?" Jace's eyes met his. "Then we die trying. We can't let the galaxy fall into the hands of those who would destroy Earth and everything we stand for." Back on the warship, the crew had already prepared for the worst. The alien fleet was closing in, and the last remnants of humanity's military might were ready to engage. The warship was now the last bastion of Earth's legacy, and Jace knew they could not afford to lose this fight. The alien ships moved into formation, their weapons primed and ready. The vast expanse of space was alive with the energy from the gateway, its power coursing through the human warship, making it stronger with each passing second. The first shots from the alien fleet fired with deadly precision, their weapons hitting the warship shields, causing them to flicker and pulse. But the human warship wasn't backing down. Jace had activated the full power of the relay, feeding it directly into the ship's weapon systems. The ship's weapons fired in response, sending waves of energy back toward the alien ships. Direct hit on their lead cruiser. Ferris called, "Out. The shields are down." Jace didn't allow himself to feel relief. The fight was far from over. He watched as the alien fleet regrouped, their ships turning toward the human warship, preparing for their next assault. The power of the relay was coursing through them, but it was also dangerous. It was becoming harder to control, the energy threatening to spiral out of their hands. "We can't keep this up much longer," Ferris warned, his voice tight. "The relay's power, it's too much. We need to find a way to stop it." Jace's eyes were cold, his expression unyielding. "We finish this, Ferris. We fight to win." The alien fleet launched another attack, but this time the human warship was ready. The energy from the relay surged through the ship's systems, amplifying its weapons to a level the aliens couldn't comprehend. The warship's cannons fired in rapid succession, ripping through the alien fleet, tearing apart their ships one by one. As the last alien ship exploded in a flash of light, Jace stood still, his chest rising and falling with heavy breaths. The battle was over. They had won, but the cost was clear. The power of the relay had shifted the balance of the galaxy, and humanity's future was now bound to the ancient force they had unlocked. The question remained, could they control it? Or would it consume them as it had consumed so many before?